The average cost of college tuition rises every year, making it harder for you to pay for college, and yet out of state students and international students have to pay nearly double the amount of tuition. Dropping the price of college tuition by eliminating international and out of state fees or charges could potentially affect business and industry by increasing the amount of revenue in small towns with universities and by producing more employees with the higher education that companies require, or if companies require it. College tuition is a subject that struck my attention because I will be transferring to a four-year college next fall. This led me to dig deeper and research how elimination of out-of-state and international college tuition would impact business and industry. First, I will talk about the problems of reducing tuition for international and out-of-state tuition fees, or out-of-state students. Secondly, I will talk about the positive effect of reducing international and out-of-state college tuition. Lastly, I will propose a solution for college tuition prices. Let us first review the problems with lowering out-of-state and international tuition as well as the prices. Many who believe that out-of-state tuition fees and international fees should apply to non-resident state that this is only fair to taxpayers and out-of-state students should pay more. Natasha Boynapour wrote an article in 2015 named Pro-Immigrants Should Pay Out-of-State Tuition, in which many politicians and residents state that they feel it is fair for undocumented and out-of-state students to pay out-of-state tuition. A few of the comments within the article include a resident named Victoria Hughes who states, if you're going to force a United States citizen to pay out-of-state, like a student from Louisiana to attend school in Texas, I think you should do the same for those who cannot prove residency. And State Senator Lois Coldhorse, who states, if there's one seat left, for example, at UT, who should get that in-state tuition? Texas taxpayers are giving the money for universities. They should be a priority. As stated by collegedata.com in a 2015 article called What's the Price Tag for a College Education? Students paying out-of-state tuition will on average pay nearly double the amount of regular tuition. So how much does college tuition cost exactly? An article published in 2003 by Tom Price called Rising College Cost on CQ Researcher, Tom states that the cost of attending an elite private university can now approach $40,000 a year, while the average private school costs $26,854. The Wall Street Journal states in an article published in 2015 called Too Expensive, That's a Myth by Lamar. College Too Expensive, That's a Myth by Lamar Alexander, that a public four-year college on average will cost about $9,000 a year. Now that we've looked at the problem and the price of college, we will discuss how eliminating state and international student fees will benefit business and industry, or out of state, I'm sorry. Eliminating out-of-state tuition could bring in more potential students to states that contain small towns with dying economies. That means more money for the colleges with low populations, a more populated town with a thriving economy. Joseph McDonald describes just this situation in an article called Out-of-State Tuition to Spur Economic Growth on BangorDailyNews.com, published in 2011. In this article, Joseph McDonald describes North Dakota, which faced this problem. By dropping the out-of-state tuition to nearly in-state tuition, they were able to fill all 11 of their public colleges and universities. Not only did they have a 56% increase in non-resident students, but Joseph also states that the economic impact of its public higher education system reached $3.7 billion. In an article presented by Forbes magazine called Tuition Reimbursement, Benefit for Employees and Employees by Luke Lenz, published in 2012, Luke describes how companies pay for a fraction of their employees' tuition in order to later reap the rewards. If out-of-state tuition was eliminated, that would mean a reduced tuition reimbursement for employers, along with an increase of potential employees in search of jobs. Now that we've reviewed the problems and the positive effects of reducing out-of-state and international tuition for students, we can talk about a solution. As I stated before, many people see in-state tuition as something only state residents should benefit from based off tax dollars. While this is true, reducing the cost or eliminating out-of-state tuition is something that could positively impact cities or even states' economy. Colleges should reduce out-of-state tuition by have, creating an incentive that would lead to more people receiving a higher education. This will ultimately boost the amount of educated workers in the corporate world and bring more revenue into cities with dying economies. As seen with North Dakota, eliminating or greatly reducing out-of-state tuition could cause more revenue to flow for universities and businesses impacted by student spending. A higher education is also something that we saw that's a basic job requirement in the corporate world, and as seen in Forbes magazine, employers are willing to pay for a higher education in order to reap the rewards. So what should you do? You should go out and protest. If you don't like the way out-of-state tuition or international charges are being charged, then you should protest about it and get your local representatives to represent your opinion and your voice. Now that we've expressed the solution, let's review what we've discussed. First, we went over the cons to reducing out-of-state tuition. Second, we went over the positive effects on business and industry by reducing out-of-state tuition. And finally, we presented our solution. Ultimately, out-of-state tuition creates a barrier for potential contributors to the business, world, and industry. By eliminating these borders, we can have a positive impact on economy, higher education institutions, and business within our states. Thank you.